Good evening and welcome to the March 18th, 2025 meeting of the Diablo Vista Advisory Board. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 6:03. Roll call, please.
Phil Williamson,
Here.
Steve Spafford,
Here.
Jack Scaroni,
Here.
Tom Edmondson,
Here.
and Ann James.
Here.
And just a reminder to turn your microphones on when you do talk, please.
You should say Gaston's habits.
And Gaston Habits is absent.
Thank you, Claire. Next item is public comment. Members of the public may speak on any item not on the agenda, but within the advisory board scope. During this public comment section of the meeting, I see no members of the public present. We can move on to the next item.
We had it at 6:30 last week. The minutes say 6:30, the agenda says 6.
Okay. Okay, next item is item 4, approve December 10th, 2024 meeting minutes. Looking for a motion to approve these minutes without reading them tonight.
So moved.
All right. Oh,
So moved.
I guess I can second that, right, Claire? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the December 2nd or December 10th, 2024 meeting minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that item has been passed. I'm going to suggest that we skip the next item, number 5, until our third board member arrives. I think we believe he's on his way and should be here in 5 or 10 minutes.
Just for clarity, 2 is a quorum. So you could start if you wanted to. I know you want to wait until he's on his way, but 2 is a quorum, so if you had to have a
Right.
vote, you
Yeah.
could vote.
Oh, yeah, no, we just voted on the minutes. So yeah, but I think this item would benefit from his input. So we're going to wait on that one if that's okay with everybody. Item 6, discuss the potential mailing date and content of the annual DVWS newsletter. Discussion item.
Well, we discuss this at this meeting every year. I can send it out in April as usual, and I would anticipate we want to put something in there about the filter and the upgrades that we've done. You can see, you all have a copy of it. My suggestion is if you have anything you'd like to change or like to add, just email me or let me know. It'll be the same sort of setup, same sort of information. But if you do have edits and if you would like to write something about the filter, Phil, I don't know if you want Gaston to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll ask him, but I think he'd be the appropriate one to write something up about the filter.
I mean, we still cover backflow devices and cross connections in the first paragraph, which we do every year.
Are we still looking for an engineer? We're full now, right? Okay, with Tom? Okay, great.
Yeah, so we need to.
So I know it's unlikely that we're going into a drought, but are we going to keep stuff in there about our recommendations for conserving water?
Well, we haven't, you have this, we have a section on conservation and we have a section on water use prohibitions as per Contra Costa Water. So,
Okay, I think it's good that we still keep that in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Overwatering, we just need to update what our capital improvements were and maybe are going to be.
I have a thought as well that we might consider adding to the letter. I'd like to discuss it first, obviously, but that would be having an open house to kick off the season. I know we had one a number of years ago, maybe 10 years ago or longer. It's been a while. But especially with our new filter, we could, have just, an afternoon on a Saturday that we could put in the newsletter where we'll be on hand to answer any questions and just to show our customers their equipment.
We're gonna have to talk about that because the city attorney is not gonna want people down in our pump house.
Oh, really? Why not?
It's a liability. Someone trips and falls down the stairs, they trip over a piece of equipment.
We can get them to sign a waiver though, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
We need to talk about it because I have
Oh,
to.
yeah. Yeah,
We
we're
have
talking
to-
about it now, exactly. So I appreciate that comment. That's a good one.
I think the idea is great. We just want to make sure that we have whatever liability waivers we need to make that happen.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're talking about the newsletter. We skipped item 5, or 4, or excuse me, 5.
But
Um,
we should record that Gaston is now here.
Oh, yes. Gaston Habits is now at the meeting.
And present, correct?
Present.
So we're talking about the newsletter, and we thought we would ask you to write up a blurb on the filter to add to the improvement section.
Okay.
And we were just talking about, as a discussion item only at this point, thoughts on having an open house for our customers beginning of the year. So we're looking into the issues that might, are we interested in doing that? What are the issues we'd have to, address to invite the public into that space? But the reason I thought of it, we have new equipment. We've done it once since I've been here, but it's been many, many years. I think it's also a good way to just remind people that there is some infrastructure. They don't really see our infrastructure much, but if they can, unless they're on the trail a lot, but even then, associating that pump house with their house would be make a helpful thing. And we might get enough, interest for future open positions where people might just see, there's this potential, volunteer opportunity down the road if we had any more vacancies. So a couple positive reasons for holding it. Liability, as Ann mentioned, is something we'd have to address as far as inviting people down those steps. I know our railing needs to be re-secured. A couple of screws came out of that one railing. Other thoughts on that idea? As something to add to the newsletter?
Well, we could, yeah. I don't know if we can have some leaflets from Contra Costa Water on what conservation or something.
You may want to consider asking Contra Costa Water if they want to be present
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
at the event. And then if we do settle on a date, we could probably have Jeff Gillette put it out on our social media as well.
And every time I'm at the pump house, I usually get a few people that are just on the trail that want to know what's going on. So I know there is general interest in that site. But I think our customers especially might want to come up, bring their kids or something like that. But yeah, I see why you're bringing up the liability, because
Yeah.
kids, dogs, people, they get crowded down there.
Yeah.
A little
I'm not
crowded
sure
in
you
there.
Yeah, you want people in the pump house or just look at the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
Have a table on the trail or
Yeah.
something.
even that.
Yeah, gotta get a permit.
They can look at our new pole,
Yeah, look at the new phone.
Yeah.
Claire's pole.
I mean, we could I understand wanting to do it there, but if that doesn't happen, I mean, we could open up our June meeting as a, come and see us, we can have some photos of the filter up. We could have
That's
like
an idea.
whiteboards here and, spotlight our
That's a really good
improvements.
idea. Yeah.
I actually like that
Maybe we
idea.
would get people maybe we would get more people that way.
Yeah. easier
So they're
to get
not going to the
parking and-
trail, yeah. We could have some,
Food?
snacks, yeah.
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 I like that idea.
I do too.
Yeah.
We get some poster board blow-ups of work we've done, the 12-inch main.
I mean, typically
Filter.
our June meeting agenda wise is fairly light. So, I mean, we could hold a meeting and then
Yeah.
have a
And we
just
could do
Q
it-
and A kind of thing.
Yeah, we could do an hour before the meeting.
Yeah.
Open it up with,
And people could
with
stay for
some
the meeting if they
information
wanted to,
about
yeah.
the
Yeah.
system.
Yeah, but I think we could get definitely some good pictures of the filter and the new pumps, and we could
Yeah.
have Eric even come if he wants to come and talk about pumps or,
And then we're running.
Yeah.
None are
Yeah,
running?
that's
Did you
true.
say none are running?
Yeah.
And then we're running.
Oh, and then we're running.
Anyway, that's just a thought.
That's a really good idea.
I think that's a good idea. We could have Contra Costa Water here talking about their stuff. And
Mhm.
Yeah, and they.
Yeah, they
can-
might be more inclined to come to a,
Janet's
More
not losing her
formal
mind.
setting.
Our city attorney is
Um,
taking a deep breath.
but we could
'cause-
certainly, we could promote it in our newsletter as an open house meeting kind of
Right.
a thing.
Yeah.
Do a half-page thing on it.
Mhm.
I like it. Good idea, Claire.
Good idea. Love it. Okay. I don't think we need, I'm not voting on that obviously, but let's try and add that to our newsletter. So you're thinking you'll send out draft to us to look at?
Oh, yeah.
And then
yeah,
we'll look at it and edit it and
Yeah.
get it out
So-
in April?
We've usually tried to tie it in with a week or two after the system goes on.
Mhm.
And I
Right.
know that's an agenda item later in, but I think the water's going in the canal April 1st. I haven't got anything formal from Contra Costa Water,
I know.
but I believe that's what they're communicating. So usually we're a few days after that. So I would anticipate the letter go out by April 15th at the latest.
Yeah, and I haven't seen them on the trail yet. Because typically they come from Walnut Creek
Mhm.
cleaning it out, but not yet. No, they haven't been there
I've
yet.
seen them replace a few sections of the wall, like down by, just past Gregory and just almost by Putnam. or-
Yeah, and that's a good sign, actually, that they do make the investment to
Yeah.
keep it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, if I see anything on the trail, I'll let you know.
Yeah, likewise.
But Dominic certainly said that 1st of April, they expect to have water in the canal and they will clean it this season.
They said,
That's what he said.
you got 2 weeks if they're gonna turn it on April 1.
Well, it takes 2 days or something to fill it up. But to clean it, that is,
They got 2 weeks to clean it.
Yeah. yeah, and that,
18th, right?
so they should be already somewhere in Concord, but I haven't been out there.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll, Gaston, if you want to get me a filter article within a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I was hoping that if you were gonna write the filter article, we could also include it in the city at work,
Yeah, I
Claire.
see that,
So
yeah.
I don't know what the deadline is for the city.
March 26th is the city at work.
So we have an insert in the engineering division for the city at work that we put in the Outlook that goes to all the residents in Pleasant Hill.
and that's March 26th.
It doesn't have to be super long, Gaston, just,
No.
No.
No, there's no room.
but
for
I'd
that.
like to include it in the overall city at work for the whole city to see what,
I like the picture.
it was a great
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah, we'll use that.
Gaston, for you, I sent that picture to Tim Flaherty because I know that came up in your interview. Just want you to know, Tim, we got this done.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you two bonded over that filter. He was so excited.
He was very excited
Yeah.
about it.
I sent it to him today.
I'm interested to hear the feedback.
Well, now it has to work, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
like
see
it'll
it
be
work.
interest, yeah.
Because it's a pretty coarse filter. It's, what did he say, 80 mesh? So, yeah, it's most of the bigger stuff
Mhm,
won't go through.
Yeah.
And we have the option to see how often the cleaning cycle goes through. If that is often enough, then this is the filter.
Mhm.
If it doesn't need to clean that often, then we could put a finer in.
Oh, you can
Because
adjust
the-
it. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
And that's just a replacement of
that's
the
a,
filter itself.
yeah, it's just the inside
Yeah.
is a screen.
Green, right.
Okay, let's move back to item 5. Review and select next capital improvement project. This is a discussion and a action item, a vote. If we get there. So thank you, whoever put this together, Claire.
That's Anne's
Anne,
presentation, these
thank you.
CIP projects,
Yes,
from,
way back in the day.
that's
Mhm.
when, actually, that was from, the increase, the 218 vote.
Right. And would you like to just refresh our memory on these two projects?
These were projects that the board actually brought forward as the next projects on the list when we were going through the increase. You know, we tried to come up with capital costs for the next 10 years. So these were this is the 10-year overall plan. And we probably would have to split Roberta to Patterson, Byron to Patterson. Well, let me say this a different way. First, you want to talk about, are those still our needs?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right? And that would be based on repairs and places that we think we might need to, because there were certainly other projects on the list that came out of both studies that we got, the one from Fracta and the internal one that you did. These were the two projects that were most important to the Diablo Vista Water System team, so we included them in the increase. However, if, Jack, you were to tell me that, tell us that you have Roberta de Patterson and Byron de Patterson are no longer top of the list, we're not married to these two projects.
No, we don't have any other area that's, we have major breaks, a lot of major breaks, so I think we should go along with replacing all the big pipes first.
And it makes a very good point. We just finished the 12, so we've got all that pressure coming down the 12 into the 10 right there on Roberta.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me that we would take that next step, right? Just for the integrity of the line.
Yeah, I agree. I think these are still, in my mind, the priority projects. I mean, we've always thought Maysfield had so many breaks, but it's probably been repaired, replaced. in
Practically
kind
brand new at
over
this
the-
point.
Nice patchwork.
It's practically bionic at this point. Come on.
So one question I had on this is, it was last done in May of 2023.
Well, the costs probably have gone up incrementally, yes,
Yes.
the construction costs,
Okay,
for sure.
so we don't know.
But we used a pretty aggressive number. The 476 came from the water district. It was a pretty aggressive number, conservative, I mean,
Aggressive being
conservative.
high or low?
high,
Okay,
conservative, right? We used a very conservative number that we got from the water district.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what will last. Obviously, there was some additional cost with the lining and everything, but the cost per feet of the regular pipe replacement, do we have any idea how much that was in the last?
I didn't do that number, Gaston, but I can send it to you guys. Off the top of my head, I don't know that.
Well, I think that was what I found a little bit interesting. The cost of putting that liner in was actually more expensive than replacing. Obviously, in this case, it was less because of the other stuff, but it would have been nice if you could just put the liner in and.
It would be cheaper, but
Yeah,
it's not.
right.
Yeah,
You thought the liner was more expensive or cheaper?
I think it was more expensive.
It was more expensive. Oh,
right,
okay. I
yes.
wasn't exactly, but we didn't have an option there because
Right,
we
no,
couldn't open
exactly,
cut.
yes,
Yeah.
Right. I was just saying, you would think that instead of digging
in.
everything up
Yeah.
and, putting in the new pipe, if you didn't have to do that, then it would be cheaper to do, but
I think the
Absolutely.
material was
yeah,
egregious, right?
yeah.
On the whole, the whole
Confined
planning,
space.
planning and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Even if it was less, it would probably end up being more expensive because they have to go in, dig up every place that there's a service line.
Yeah.
And they have to puncture the liner.
Yeah.
So at that time, you're digging, there's a lot of places you're gonna be digging up.
Right.
So
So, and can we save money by doing the engineering and the planning for both? And have them on the books, and then how long can you wait till you execute on both ends?
So Claire, correct me if I'm wrong, did we have 75 or 150 in the next CIP? in Diablo Vista Water.
75.
With 75.
So it's not, it's just an extra step, right? Where if we went out with an RFP for both, it's more than likely we'd have to go back to council and ask for more money to cover the cost of the design of both. But it makes sense to me, we'd have one engineer to do the design of both, right? And get it on the books and have it be shovel ready. And then the next, because this would be a design season, right? We don't have budget, we have money that's different from budget to do the construction of the project.
Okay,
So if we did the design now, which we do have budget for, right? If we did the design now in this year, then when the CIP rolls over again, we would fund the project, right?
and
So
then-
I think this would be a design year if you wanted to do the design of both, and then the next 2 years would be construction years.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Otherwise, yeah, we go through the whole of finding the engineering company,
Right.
bidding it out. All of that will be repetitive when we have this as a
Yeah, if we just do
plan.
one RFP for both pipes, that's completely fine, and it does make sense to me that we would have Unfortunately, the engineer we had that did the 12-inch main has left and gone to work for a city. But we would have to use, so RJA, our engineer from RJA is now working, God, I want to say he's like in Shasta.
Oh.
You know, he took a job
Bigger pipes.
working for a city. But yes, that is totally doable if you guys wanted to go out for the design right now for both.
And that could possibly be cheaper.
Well, the cheaper comes in the administrative costs and the putting it out and all the prep work they have to do, studying the system, like they only do that once, right? Like
Yeah,
all of
and
the,
plus you pay in $25, not in 26 or $7.
Agree.
Right.
So in theory, yes, cheaper because it's economy of scale, right? They have a big fat project that they're working on. And, you know, we're not repetitively keep going out with more administrative costs and all of that stuff. The only thing is, you know, you guys would be married to owning this design, right? So if you decided to swing left after we put in Roberta to Patterson and go fix Maysfield,
Yeah.
then we're stopped, right? And that design's kind of sitting on the shelf.
And what is the shelf life of something like that?
Well, I think the design would remain true. It just would be the cost that would keep increasing, right? Unless between now and the time you built it, there was some amazing new technology that came out, which is unlikely, right? Pipe is pipe.
And then so can you walk us through the timeline if we did design this season? And then when would we anticipate Roberta to Patterson going to?
Oh, I wouldn't anticipate Roberta to Patterson going out until the shutdown in 2026.
Okay.
Mostly because even though once you get the design done and everything gets approved, then we have to go bid it, right? And do all of that work.
So winter 26, 27.
Yes,
Okay,
The earliest.
okay.
yeah, that would be what I would think.
And is there any like 5-year moratorium issues with the paving?
When did we pave?
Yeah, at least
It was about 3 years ago.
3 years. So it sounds like we'd just be getting out of that moratorium period maybe.
Uh,
Not that it stopped PG&E over on McKissick, but.
Yeah, I can't do anything about PG&E, but
Probably, yeah, I think we're probably safe. I just want to make sure we.
we paved in 22? Yeah, you'd be close. You'd be close. Worst case scenario, we would have to do a bit bigger T-cut. When we repair, instead of just doing the trench line, you might have to
Okay,
pave more,
okay.
right? A bigger T-cut to make the road.
Even it out.
So PG&E over in McKissick, and I'm, no joke, right? I made them go to the center line. I
Okay.
gave them the option of getting it done before we went in and paved, and they couldn't make that.
Right.
And so we made them go to the center line and on Hubbard as well. That's why, even though they were way up, we're like, oh no, these people waited 30 years for their street. You're going to the center line.
Yeah, it looks good out there.
Um,
Good job.
And I guess that's what I'm saying is that might be something we would have to do is make the T-cut a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Especially for the people who live on Roberta who don't want to
Yeah,
have a new trench line, right?
when they did, Marvin, they did half the street, I thought. That turned out pretty nice when on that 12-inch replacement.
Yes.
Yeah, also Stevenson, yeah.
So if we were to do it 26, 27, we would only be able to do the Roberta part.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
If we did the actual construction during 26, 27, we would only be able to do the Roberta part, right? Because looking at the cost.
Oh, yeah, you wouldn't have,
Caution
you wouldn't,
down.
we wouldn't, Claire, how much money did you send out that email? I don't have it in front of me.
We're projected, based on a quick calculation, we'd be projected to have about 900,000 between the two accounts.
Right, so you would only be able to do one,
Right.
because we have to keep a reserve in both accounts.
Yeah.
And then you also, there's going to be a contingency, right?
So, and then it would take a fair amount of time to build up the amount to get.
Yeah,
the
it'd
second
be
project.
another 2 years before we got the next project out, unless we had a good property sales tax year.
In my head, I'm just thinking Roberta to Patterson seems longer than Byron to Patterson.
But we came pretty far down Roberta when we came
Oh,
We
okay.
came to the first cross street, if
You're
you,
already on-
almost to the first cross street with the
Hubbard.
12-inch main.
Okay,
And
Okay.
that, who knows what is cheaper?
got you.
All I'm saying though is I think we came down almost to the first cross street, right? The 12-inch main comes pretty far down.
The Hubbard.
Roberta. Yeah.
Okay, that explains it. All right, any other discussion on this topic?
Yeah, the only thing we have to remember there is we might have to put a valve in between the 12 and the 10. I think there was an issue when we only put in a reducer, and I can't remember why. Or maybe there was a reducer there and we couldn't get a valve at the last minute, but that's something we'd want them to look at as part of the design. If you wanted a valve there,
Well, at the cross street.
right?
There is one. There are no
I'll have to go back and look at that, the notes, the inspector notes. I just remember when we did the tie-in from the 12 to the 10, we had an issue.
Okay.
Not an issue that affects how the system works, but it might be affecting how we isolate things.
That's where we ended, right?
Yes.
All right, maybe if I can do this properly, I'd like to move that we keep our project priorities as stated on our little sheet here, that Roberta to Patterson would be the first priority and then Byron to Patterson replacement would be the second priority. And that during this fiscal year, we go out to bid to get the engineering done for both projects. And then we'll have to see, I think we can wait on the actual approval of it depending on costs and things like that, so.
All right,
Second.
all right, it's been moved and seconded. Do I need to read that back? Okay, so moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. Thanks for the good discussion. Thanks, Ann. All right, item 7 on the agenda, review the maintenance and operational needs of the system. Jack, you want to take this one and start off with this one?
Well, the one thing I know we need for the pump house is a box of gloves,
Okay.
just a regular vinyl.
Routine,
Yeah,
okay.
vinyl glove.
Okay.
Other than that, I think we're pretty good up there.
We need more street paint.
Do we? We need some more?
You got the information off the box that day. Did we get more street paint?
I don't know if we got any more. Did you order more? I think we should get some of the water base and some of the stuff, the better stuff for the valve covers,
No, I'm talking about, just the street markings, the
but just for
arrows.
USA's.
Don't we,
Here's the pipes.
I thought we still had 4 or 5, but might as well get another box
Do you want to just let me, what color?
of the
Pink.
purple.
Purple.
Yeah.
Purple. You mark USA with purple?
Yeah.
Okay. I should know that, but,
It just was pink for a while.
It was,
oh, okay.
They didn't
alright,
have-
alright.
they didn't have purple pipe, the color at one time, so I started doing more recycled water.
I was gonna mention, we have on our to-do list is that leak on Roberta.
Yeah,
And obviously we have to wait until the water's on, but we need to kind of figure out when we want to do that.
Mhm.
well, probably about a week after we start, I think it's probably best.
Is that a USA, or not a USA, is that a advanced trenchless?
Yeah.
job? Okay.
We're out in the street. It's a 3/4 inch copper surface. I'll have to find out how good they are at copper.
So when do they do the USA for that? Would they do that?
I haven't done it yet. They can do
Okay.
it anytime, but
Okay,
you don't want to call them up until
yeah,
you're getting ready to start because, otherwise you got to keep calling and renewing.
renew it and whatnot, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, you could do that a couple of days
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, Tom, do you have everything you need as far as supplies go? Yep, okay,
And the vest?
yeah,
Safety vest?
yeah.
Tom and I have done some valve archaeology out there, and there were 2 things I wanted to bring up. I think we mentioned one to you, was that blowout valve on Oak Park we need to have uncovered. So that's on the to-do list. And then when we were looking for valve covers on Marvin Oakview, I think it's 325 and 335 Oakview.
I looked a little bit and couldn't find it either.
Yeah.
I know I've seen it somewhere along the line.
It crossed
saw
from
it.
where we did our new line in the easement. There's actually, I didn't even know we had 2 customers on the west side of the street there. and we could not find their valve box. So I was wondering, A, are they paying? Looking it up right now, it's 325 and 335, and I think that's an Oakview address. Versus Marvin, yeah, it's Oakview.
Hmm.
So, and
There were two valves in the street. Well, one is the, is it cathodic protection?
the new stuff is very visible and.
Okay.
Yeah, but the service valve box.
Well, you can't
for
find
these-
that.
Yeah. I didn't know they were our customers, so I looked at the map and, oh, these people. Anyway, no box. I was wondering, did our plans, when we did the 12-inch line, I know we replaced all the laterals in that street. Does anybody know if we replaced that lateral?
I don't think so, but I'll pull the plans and double check.
That must
I
be-
didn't know we
must
had
be.
anybody on the other side of the street.
Yeah, and it was one of those weird ones.
Oh, it's just, well, further towards, what is it? Down the hill, there will service both ends. So those are just the last ones on the left.
Yeah. Going up the hill. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but I know
Double check.
we replaced all the other laterals in that street, right? When we did that
Yeah.
project, yeah.
yeah,
That was done in phase one, right?
Yeah,
yes.
And that could be why we may have missed it, right? Because for phase two, we were concentrated on just doing the, I'm gonna say we did not replace that lateral on that side. I don't remember trenching across the street.
Yeah,
I just remember digging the box.
well, they would be on the phone if they don't get water. They haven't had water then for 2 years.
well, coincident, only the first two houses on the west side of Marvin are in our district. The next two
I
aren't.
see.
Then it's, we pick up two more. It's kind of a weird little
Yeah.
thing there.
I will look, Phil.
Okay. And then I just learned this the other day, so I thought I'd share it with you. I had no idea this even was out there, but I was aware that the residents on Byron Court share a service from the canal. They have like their own little mini system. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
I did not know that.
They all pay CCWD.
Yeah, they set up 300 plus of water,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
well, and there are more houses that.
Oh, Byron Court. Okay, yeah, the other side.
Yeah, there's a bunch up there that have one.
But, so I didn't know, we had a USA last week for, I forget the address here, right across from Byron Court on Stevenson. Look it up really quick. I don't even have an address for it. Yeah, we don't even have an address on our map. So she's on Stevenson, she's not a customer of ours, but the line from that little neighborhood system goes underneath Stevenson to her house on the other side. So that must have been put in, who knows when, but she's upgrading her side of that now. Yeah, I know. Somebody probably out there late at night digging a trench. But you didn't, when we repaved, that probably didn't come up either, huh? Or when we did our 12-inch line, we didn't obviously mess that line up?
We didn't do anything on Byron, or we never heard that we broke anything on Stevenson, so.
Okay. Well, anyway,
But again, that was all phase one, so.
yeah, I learn something new every day.
It's amazing to me that the water district allowed that back in the day.
It's kind of, maybe they have one of the houses maybe owns the service and then they have a subcontract with their neighbors or something.
I think, yeah, so it's the left side of Stevenson until you go to the canal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Byron.
I think I talked to the guy at the left end, and he said, yeah, it's something that every time somebody moves in, they have a whole discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Unless they fixed it up, it's kind of rinky dinky. Pump system.
Probably gotta share, probably have to coordinate water times. No pressure. Okay. Any other items for discussion on item 5? Or,
Seven.
excuse me, item 7?
The startup date for starting up the system,
Oh. Did I not put
we need that. I was thinking the Friday or Saturday, that's the, what, 5th, 6th, I think it is. I'll have to coordinate with Eric because Eric needs to be there.
Yeah, I think the first is a Monday, is it?
Yeah, the first is
First is a
a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Or Tuesday? What about that Friday?
Yeah, the 4th or the 5th. The 4th is Friday, the 5th is,
So you reach out to Eric?
I'll reach out to Eric and see his availability.
So,
And if we had to with Eric, we could always start it up early to check everything out and then shut it off and,
Early morning, do you mean? Or?
no, it's
Oh.
one day we could turn it on long enough to, if he could make it those 2 days, to check the filter and everything, get everything calibrated,
yeah, everything runs.
and then shut it off and turn it on Friday, and
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, so, but yeah, it would be good if Eric was there to talk you through the whole filter.
He says he needs to be there,
Yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
yeah. So you reach out to him for availability that week?
Yeah.
So he needs to probably also contact, I asked him already if he had reached out to OTI. Because the front and back side of the filter has pressure sensors. So we could get them on the app. So then we can see when the filter starts to load up, then you see the difference in the pressure.
They're gonna need the system on or off? It could be off.
I don't know. So he needs to reach out to them and see what they are available. And also probably the tuning of the pumps, now that we have a better, what is it, to avoid the hammering with the pressure tank.
Are you around, Phil?
Yeah,
And Tom, are you around like April 4th, 5th?
No, I'm going to Mexico to sell property in a second. Won't be back till tonight.
Okay. Well,
Third early.
if there's two of you, that's probably all right, right?
yeah.
Phil?
And actually, I'm trying to remember, what did we ever find out about our electrical line and whether or not we have an issue or not?
We have an issue. We have an issue with the imbalance, but we can only do it when the pumps are on, for somebody to come out and check it.
Okay, so is that also going to be on our to-do list to have somebody do that once we?
Reach out to PG&E.
So wait, did the city electrician go look at it? Okay,
Yeah, he looked at it.
he saw the imbalance.
Yeah, he thought it might be the way the pumps are wired. But it's not, because Eric switched wires around and it's still the same.
Okay.
So,
Does somebody have a contact for?
yeah, somebody I think of the engineers needs to be the point person to coordinate, make sure that it happens. And you have to
What's the
be-
action though? I missed the action.
reach out to PG&E, make sure that they, and maybe Ann can help get the contact there.
Claire's got the
Or-
contacts.
or Claire. But,
I think
yeah.
it might be not a bad idea to have Steve, the electrician, come back out when the pumps are
Pumps are
on, so
on.
he
Yeah.
can see what's happening. That'll be the first step. And then Steve might know someone at PG&E that can help us out. And I'm only laughing because I know literally no one at PG&E. The fact that the pole got replaced is still a mystery to me. I let Claire take all the credit because I think it was her contact.
Well,
We'll take a miracle.
Yes. Oh, that was a PG&E miracle. But at least once the pump gets going, we'll have Steve come back out, have one of you guys there with Jack. And then we'll take the next steps. Does that sound okay?
the only thing I had, and this is for a future meeting, and we've talked briefly about this. If there's a lot split in Poets Corner and how that's going to be handled, and that's for a future meeting, but.
It's going to be a future meeting because it's probably going to be an ordinance update to the Diablo Vista water ordinance. So Poets Corner has our biggest lots, and we're got several, what they call SB9 lot splits going out there that'll have two different addresses. But I have to get with the city attorney on, our code is mute on that topic. And so we may have to update the ordinance before people would be able to
These
connect.
are formal lots, where you're creating two parcels, right?
Correct. So I
Versus
just,
just putting an ADU in, which
Yeah,
is,
like two parcels, so two separate.
yeah, like,
tax bills.
addresses.
yes, like a
Yes.
SB 9 lot
But-
split.
But we discussed this before.
We did with 425 Roberta.
Yes.
I think. But do they get their own valve? Do they get their,
That was the decision. They
Uh,
get their own
Yes.
valve and they get their own bill.
and are
tax
they
bill.
paying for the valve?
And that's what I'm suggesting,
So
is it
that's
needs to
just
be,
that kind of discussion.
Usually,
Okay, yeah.
usually anytime you do something like that, you have to pay for all the infrastructure that's
Right.
required, so.
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying, it needs to be an ordinance update
Okay.
in the Diablo Vista Water Ordinance so that it's very clear and laid out, so there's no ambiguity.
No, I
ambiguity.
Even so we can provide information to applicants that are coming in and doing that and asking the
agree,
question.
yeah.
Yeah.
so what do we think ballpark the new valve and the labor to put it in would be, Jack?
It would depend. Is the valve on that property line where they're splitting,
You need to-
where there's two valves there already, or is it over one lot?
Yeah,
Because that makes a big difference. You're gonna be digging across one lot to
And in a way,
add the valve.
it could be
That's a lot
private,
different than
that's why, yeah.
That's a lot different than dealing with an existing valve box and
But honestly, anybody that wants to connect to the system, especially now we have the filter, that cost would be offset very quickly, right? As opposed to using potable water for irrigation. I mean, you would let the resident decide, right, if they want to connect or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Okay. But would they would go to the city and get a building permit and they put all the infrastructure in and give it to us? Is that how it works?
well, let's have it in agenda item and we can discuss it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be for June.
Yes. Mhm.
And by then, Claire, we could have talked to the city attorney and
Right.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I noticed there is one on the corner of McKissick and Hubbard that they put two houses on there.
Oh, yeah.
I think they
Mhm.
think that was a lot.
Yeah, that's a new lot split. Yeah.
Corner lots work well, usually. but-
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion on this item, number 7?
So who's gonna reach out to OTI to get Tom on the system and start up the app? And I think we have now full engineers on board, so I'm stepping back.
I mean, I can probably do that. I mean, I mean, I'm in communication with OTI about their monthly payments and stuff, so. If you'd like me to at least start the process,
Okay. If it's email, just copy the engineers or something. Okay.
I can do that.
Thank you, Claire.
Uh-huh.
when I talk to Eric, I can find out exactly what he needs.
Yeah, good call. Very good. All right, let's move to item 8 then. Review the number and nature of calls received by the dispatcher from December 11th to date.
Well, it's been quiet, only
Thank goodness.
only 13, because not many people call in the winter time, but they're starting to ask when things are happening, so. But of course, USA tickets on a daily basis for me to look at to see whether or not I need to pass them along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you for handling them when I do.
Just, I'm not sure how to bring this up, but I'm not sure I'll be here for the June 17th meeting. So, but I'm not sure what our vacation plans are right now, but
So no open house for the.
Yeah.
you can have it without me. I don't need you.
Yeah. no,
You didn't be
no,
there.
no.
No, maybe the September meeting, is that our budget meeting? Yeah, so September would be just as good. I might be on vacation that time in June as well. Just FYI.
I mean, we can move the day.
Yeah.
It just becomes like it's special,
Yeah, okay.
but same.
Our dates, we haven't really nailed our dates down yet, but I'm pretty sure we'll be gone by then. Not sure when we're leaving yet. Okay, all right, and then item number 9, need a motion to approve the advisory board meeting stipends.
So moved,
Second,
All those in favor?
all right.
aye.
Aye. And we are adjourned at 6:47. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. Nice to see you. Happy March. I can't believe it's March.
More than halfway through March.
I know.